Our live?
I don't know.
Hi everyone.
Type something in the chat, please.
Hello.
Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to the PropellerAds webinar on event targeting and for sports betting. My name is Slava.
Hello. And my name is Maria. I'm so glad to see you guys. Thank you.
Okay, what is on our agenda for today's webinar, Maria?
We will talk about different types of events and discuss the benefits that each one of these types can bring you.
Okay, then we will discuss the most popular sports in which people bet most and in which geos it is better to target.
We will also tell you about the most effective betting strategies according to our statistics. Also, we'll give you a little masterclass on creative strategies to help you increase the CTR of your campaigns.
Okay, as well, we would like to show you some real cases. So we found two great case studies as an example of successful ad campaign.
And finally, we have our traditional Q&A session, which we have mentioned before. You can ask your questions while you're during the webinar in the box. And I guess that's pretty much it. We're ready to start.
Keep in mind that our time is limited, and if we don't have time enough to answer all the questions, you will find our replies on our posts we will write after this webinar.
Awesome.
Okay, let me check the chat box for a second. Okay, everything is okay.
Everything's fine. The links are dropping.
Alex will record that, this session. Okay, and let's start. The first thing we are going to discuss is types of events. In this case, we have two seasonal ones and the one-time events. Okay,
seasonal events are those that occur every year, as the name implies, by season. They are usually regional, played within a country, although some sports may have several countries involved. They are usually set to specific dates. The audience of seasonal events is quite loyal, usually, so the public attention is absolutely guaranteed. Since the schedule of these competitions is predictable, you can compose several creative strategies and several creative approaches beforehand and test all your creatives in advance. For these types of events, you need to raise the bids gradually in order to get more traffic.
By one-time events, we mean separate games, matches, or fights featuring top teams and or players. Such games may be a part of seasonal competitions, but they may happen only once in a year. For example, the final match between two countries during the World Cup, for example, Argentina against Brazil. I guess that is a cool match. And
that would be a massive, spectacular thing.
I think so. No one can predict who makes it to the finals. That's what makes this event unique. Also, we have classicals like Manchester United versus Liverpool or Real Madrid versus Barcelona in football. And we can find unbeaten fighters in boxing.
Do you know at least one?
Nurmagomedov and
Mike Tyson, by the way. He's a legend.
He's unbeaten on MMA.
Unbeaten in MMA because he has never been in MMA.
Okay.
I guess he's a classic boxing.
Yeah, he's retired, no?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mike, we still love you. Thank you.
In these cases, we have more international attention. We have very high bids before the events. And normally there is not much time to test our creatives, and we have to risk more. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yes.
It's easier to attract new users to betting platforms by offering bonuses.
Yeah, honestly, bonus is always relevant for any types of events, since it's a powerful tool that helps you create additional interest to the offer. We will talk about this a bit later when we discuss the creative strategies as well. So we wanted to show you a couple of examples of seasonal and one-time events.
Yeah, for one-time events we have Tokyo Olympics, which are just around the corner, and those games there will many sports to bet on, and this means that there are a lot of opportunities to create advertising campaigns.
Right.
Then we have the football World Cup that will take place in 2.5 years, and the tennis one. Roland Garros.
All the Frenchmen, we're sorry about our pronunciation. And on the right or on the left, I don't really know the way you see the presentation, I guess on the right. You see the examples of seasonal events. First of all is worldwide known NBA for basketball. The second one is Premier League, the football league played in the United Kingdom. In the bottom, the Indian Cricket Premier League. And finally, the Liga, the National Hockey League in Finland.
Liga.
If there are any Finns in the chat, we're also apologizing for our awful pronunciation.
Okay. Now let's move to the popular sports and appropriate geos for them. All the stats that you will see are from the data that we have collected from our platform from September of the last year, 2018, to September of this year, 2019. So let's move on. The first sport is the greatest sports of all sports.
King of kings and lord of lords of all sports. Yeah, that's right. 90% of all betting campaigns are dedicated to football. It is easier to list the countries where it is not popular than trying to make a list where it is. As I said, as the most popular sport in the world, there are only few countries where it is not popular. So those are USA, Canada, India, Bangladesh, Australia, and all the other countries that are listed there in the box in the presentation. My personal observation showed that if in certain country this sport is called soccer, probably this place is not the best geo to target the football betting campaigns. Here are the last season's data regarding the CDR in the yellow box. And speaking of sports seasons, normally the sport stops attracting attention in summer during July and August, except when there are world championships like European Cups or Olympic Games or something like this. So mostly football is dead in summer.
Well, the next World Cup will be in winter, so they will have a chance to rest a little bit during the summer.
Yeah, so the summer is time for the rest.
Okay, let's move from football to basketball. I think after football, it seems to me that it's one of the most common sports in terms of what we practice during the break at school or college. The biggest fans of basketball live in USA, Canada, Philippines, Lithuania, and so on. From Spain, we had people from Spain.
Right.
Do you love basketball? Well,
Spanish people, please tell us, is that true that you love basketball?
They have Pau Gasol on NBA. I think he's still playing. Well, about the season, popular season, we have NBA, NBL, EuroLeague, Basketball Champions League, and Africa League. The low season we have in summer and partly in spring.
Probably because it coincides with the school year. Because the most successful young players are usually taken from their colleges and schools.
They call them drafts. Draft season. They have 2 or 3 per year.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's move to the...
that was a personal surprise for me when I first saw the presentation, because in Russia we are not really into cricket, but I know there are a couple of people here from India, and this is probably the country where cricket is beloved most of all. So let's move to this. Although it's not famous among Western European countries, it has gained a massive popularity in Australia, Bangladesh, England, the mother of the sport, India, Ireland, New Zealand, Pakistan, and other countries that are listed here in the presentation. About the seasonality. Here it varies quite a lot depending on the hemisphere where we are. Since it's practiced outdoors, in the north it usually coincides with the warmest months, and in the southern hemisphere the season usually goes from October to March, so it's vice versa. And what was a surprise for me, the ICC Cricket World Cup Super League lasts for 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Oh my God. If there are any people from India, do you really have guts or, I don't know, patience to follow the competition which lasts 2 years? People, please write in the chat. I am really interested about that stuff.
Okay, it's time to talk about my favorite sport to watch on TV. It's the toughest sport I know. It's one of the toughest sports I know. The toughest is the last one. Okay, to know where it's popular, you just need to open Google Maps and see the regions that are covered by snow. The countries that love hockey are Canada, United States, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. If you miss Greenland, they play with Denmark because
Greenland is still a part of Denmark. Sorry, Mr. Trump.
Yeah,
Greenland is not for sale. And also, Russians love hockey very much. We assure you.
The popular leagues are NHL, KHL, and Champions Hockey League, and the low season is in summer.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain this to the southern people, but I will try. Well, you see, in the north we have like 7 days of sun, and it's a very big opportunity for us to take our coats off, go out and play some grass hockey, or field hockey as we call it. So when we don't play ice hockey, we play grass hockey, and this is called summer.
Yeah.
So don't try launching your betting campaigns when it's summer.
Yeah, short season of field hockey.
Yeah, right. We
So
kind of also have
sports.
to take a rest. Yeah, contact sports. Contact sports in here. We were supposed to do this mutually, but I'm sorry, we didn't have time much to rehearse it. So the contact sports, those are sports like martial arts or boxing, which are the competitions between two people, and usually they involve fighting. That's what it makes it so exciting, even from the point of creatives. We're going to see a wonderful example in the end. So those are top geos for contact sports. United States and United Kingdom are big fans of boxing. I was personally surprised that Mexicans are big fans of wrestling. If there are any Mexicans in the chat, please write me if it's true or not.
That's why we need the Mexican people. Yeah, we need to confirm that.
Yeah, really. A Mexican expert on wrestling, we're looking for you. Please answer as fast as you can.
Who is Rey Mysterio?
I don't know. Okay, and there are several countries that have their own national sports and martial arts, like, for example, Japan's, where they have sumo and karate-do, and those are wonderful and spectacular fights that also attract a lot of viewers. So this type of sports has no seasonality, as competition occur all year round. So in case you would like to set your betting campaigns all year round, go for contact sports, since the CTR is actually very tempting.
Okay, and let's move to the toughest sports after yours, the last one.
Yeah,
okay.
the last one is the toughest sport you can ever imagine. Well, just wait for it. Just wait for it. It's my personal favorite.
Okay. Well, I know that the fans of those sports won't be in favor of joining these two sports on the same slide, but we have considered that it will be appropriate for this category, since American football comes from rugby and football rules. Mm-hmm. And American football is practiced more in United States and Canada, and the rest of them plays rugby. And then we have Premier Rugby in England. Rugby World Cup will take place this year, or it was last year?
2019. So it's actually going right now. Rugby World Cup, guys. Quit this presentation and go set your betting campaigns on Rugby World Cup. It's so hot right now.
And so we have the NFL that comes to Super Bowl. And let's move to the toughest sport.
Yes! The toughest sport that you can ever imagine, and my personal favorite is cyber sports. I know that people are being sarcastic about this most of the time, but I personally think that cyber sports is the future of betting. I am being serious right now. I know that the list of the top geos doesn't look very impressive, but it's just the beginning. And the seasonality of it is all year round. It doesn't matter what kind of sport, cyber sport, you choose. Dota 2, CSGO, any other things that you can imagine?
Fortnite, Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like 2 hours of riding a horse. I actually tried that one once. I wish I could be a champion of cyber sports. Anyway, funny it sounds, but it's actually a big deal with a massive audience of loyal viewers. So if you want to try something new and make wonderful, beautiful, picturesque creatives, go for cyber sports, since the CTR is actually very promising. And I would really bet on this particular type of sports, and I really hope that.
Yeah, I agree. There is
I meet some solidarity in this question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
And before we move to the next point, we have to show you where online betting is illegal. We have the most strict countries, so United Arab Emirates, then we have Pakistan, Lebanon, Brunei, Kuwait, Singapore, and Qatar. And well, in Pakistan, at least you can bet on horse races.
Yeah, horse races.
We had people from Pakistan. Is that true? I saw we had. Okay, we'll read you after.
I guess
that.
So.
And then let's move to our statistics. Everyone who has launched campaigns or think about doing so will surely wonder when is the best time to launch the campaign. I heard something.
Yeah, I guess I've heard something too.
Yeah, I'm not
crazy. Ghost
of
the webinar are here.
Okay. Well, surely you wonder when is the best time to launch the campaign. We have investigated closely the Super Bowl phase of the last year, and well, we investigated closely the Super Bowl phase of the last year to get this statistic. As you can see, a large part of the campaigns are launched 3 days before, then by quantity 2 weeks before, and then already on the same day. These statistics can be applied to any seasonal event.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And in this metric, we can see the difference between one-time and seasonal events from the point of how many campaigns are launched in a certain period of time. It's getting quite obvious that the closer the day of the one-time event, the more campaigns are launched. The increase is very rapid, and it gets to its highest point on the day when the event takes place. Seasonal events show a different tendency. The number of campaigns increases gradually and gets to the peak when there is still time before the event starts. And when it comes to the question, my laptop is running away from me. When it comes to the question which ad format suits best for betting offers, we tend to refer to the statistics you see in the screen right now on the screen. Of course, push notifications and on-click formats are champions in this vertical. Push. Okay, I would also pay attention to native format. I know that from the first sight, the stats doesn't look impressive. I understand you guys, absolutely. But what we need to remember is that native format is relatively new. So probably it's just a question of time for this format to get more weighty results. So you may get the maximum profit from all these formats. You just need to know how to combine them in the proper way.
Okay, as Maria mentioned, in PropellerAds we believe that all formats are useful. That's why we know that by combining them you can receive more conversions for your advertising campaign for an event. So how to combine them? Well, 1 week before you can use the native format using CPC. This will warm the audience to the event, and don't forget to use dynamic content so that you can explain it about macros, cities, region, and countries. What else? What can we use?
Those are 3 that are being used on both formats, native and push notifications.
Okay, then 3 days before you can try to use on-click or pop-under, and with on-click you can collect leads and then target them on future campaigns. And on the day of the event, make a campaign with push notifications to reach the user.
Push.
push.
Da.
Push.
Yes.
Reach the users. You can use it to make retargeting, or you can target to reach people who will attend the the event. With this super combination, you will do a lot of conversions.
Yes, and that's actually our point, getting a lot of conversions.
Yeah.
But this is not the only prerequisite for that. The ad format choice is important, but also the success of your campaigns depends on the frequency as well. Few days before the event, start with a medium frequency and estimate the results. If the campaign doesn't get enough traffic but the CTR and bids are high, try to increase the frequency. On the day of the event, you will face a big competition for the traffic. That's why it's important to start with high frequency right away. As we've mentioned before, you won't have much time to build awareness, so you'll have to start with a powerful kick. Power.
Give me power. I get the power. And what to do with the auctions? Mm-hmm. How to win them? Well, there is a rule called the rule of thumb. The closer is to your eye, the less you will see what you have around. That is, the closer we are to the event, the higher your bids will have to be, because many people will bid on that event. You will have to calculate or estimate your budget for at least 3 days, and don't forget that in the most popular sporting events like the final of the Champions League, the competition is quite something, because the CR is also goes up.
Yeah.
No jokes about Cristiano Ronaldo.
No jokes about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. And another interesting fact is that during the most important sporting events, we have 20% to 50% more clicks per campaign, which is not a little amount of clicks.
Yeah.
It's almost a double clicks. Double click on that.
Mm-hmm. I'm at your side. Absolutely in this question.
I forgot.
No.
Okay, this one is mine.
Okay.
The peculiarity of sports betting is that we don't have much time to optimize and test our campaigns, since the campaigns often begins a few days or a week before. That gives you a very limited time for analysis. Because of this, we have to focus on one of two options we can see here: high volumes or high ROI. Mm-hmm. If we choose the way to raise the ROI, you will have to spend a lot of time optimizing, and you will have to be very attentive to your tests. And on the other hand, if you want to get faster results, to get more money, mm-hmm. You will have to invest more money to reach the maximum amount of people. Mm-hmm. And as we can read here, when you increase traffic volumes, your ROI goes down. Yet bigger traffic volumes ensure more significant earnings. We can see it in more details on the next slide.
My favorite.
Okay, as we can see here, it's a cookie monster.
Cookie monster! Trying
to decide between a cookie and fruits. High volumes or high ROI. Yeah, this is a situation when the character needs to make a decision: less volume and more calories, or vice versa, more volume and less calories. This is a great description, actually, of your own choice when you optimize the betting campaigns. Spending $20 with ROI of 200%, you get $40 of profit, which is okay. And investing $1,000, $1,000, with a ROI of 50%, which is 4 times less than in the previous example, you get $500 of profit. It's up to you. You may choose to invest the minimum and get the profit anyway with a great ROI, and make more profit by investing more. So it's absolutely up to you. Yeah. Which one do you prefer?
I would go for... I don't know. I don't know. Everything looks so tempting, but yeah. I would go for the second variant.
Okay, I will go for the first one.
I would go.
Okay, well, I think this is yours, because you're an expert. You're pro on how to rock your creatives.
Oh, right. Let's talk about the creatives a little bit more. And before we start, we are going to talk about how to test your creatives. So as we've mentioned before, when running sporting campaigns, we have to be very fast with testing. So here is the tool that we have in PropellerAds that might help you, which is called the Smart Rotator, which offers you two variants of testing: A/B testing for CPM models and auto-optimization for CPC models. The ABA testing is when all your creatives get the equal traffic volume, and you decide yourself which is the best combination of image and ad copy exists, and go for this creative. And the auto optimization, when the smart rotator, when the machine coupled with CPC bidding ensures that only the best creatives are getting the traffic. So the machine does everything for you. You don't have to think about anything from this point. And both of these strategies are actually okay. So
this tip is for we can create two teams. High royers and high volumers.
High royers and high volumers.
This one is for high royers.
Well, I guess we could ask that if we have time in the end of the presentation, and if we answer all the questions the guys are actually asking us in the box. So, how to rock your creatives? The first thing you have to do, especially with the one-time events, use the power of hype, because you don't need to create awareness. People are already talking about the topic, and how do you create the hype around this? How do you catch the hype wave while you setting your ad campaigns? So tease the users, use the images of famous characters, of famous sportsmen, take them behind the scenes, talk about different draft results, and probably give some predictions about who is going to make it to the finals or something like this. I guess it's time to switch the slide, right?
Yeah.
Create a countdown, a shortage of time, so it's only 5 days left to enter, to win for life. This is an encouragement as well to for the user to make a decision to bet or not, since the time is limited. And also tease them with the money. Money is actually as a carrot.
Yeah.
So you're waving the carrot before the nose and you're following it. And this is also a wonderful strategy. So show the money. Give a promise. Last year, in 2018, when the World Cup in Russia took place, we made a little bit of research and tried to understand what creative strategies advertisers and affiliates are using, how they affect it to the CTR. And there are 3 of such. The flags of the teams playing, or the mascots, for example, if it's not national competition, or the competition between two teams
or countries.
Image featuring bonus amount, and football superstars images. Let's see how these examples
actually
work.
We used one of them to our webinar.
Really?
We'll win $100 for the best questions.
We actually we used 2 of them. We've said $100 and 2 superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah, people know us, people love us. Yeah.
Legends.
Yeah, we are the legends, but not of football. I am personally a legend of, I don't know, laying on the couch and eating pizza. What are you championing?
Yeah. Your favorite sport is cyber sports.
Cyber sport is the future. Is there any type of sport that you're great in, but it is underestimated by the other people? Write it down in the box.
Have you seen Wall-E?
Huh?
Have you seen Wall-E?
I guess it's not that we don't have time for the discussion. Let's go for the creative strategies. Okay, boost the CTR by mentioning the quantity of bonus you're ready to give. Even if you don't speak Turkish or Greek, you can understand that the topic of the advertisement is sports, and you are being offered 100 of Turkish liras or euros, it doesn't matter. So you see that the creative is quite obvious, and that's why it makes it so simple and attractive. And those are actually real examples from our feed that made a lot of conversions, so pay attention to that. The second creative strategy is flags of the teams playing. This is my personal favorite creative approach, an opportunity of choice. It is great to give the user an opportunity to state their preferences. Even if you're not a big fan of sports, if you see that today is a football match where Portugal and Spain are playing against each other, it makes you wonder who is going to win and what if...
Spain.
I am not an expert, so I wouldn't even state my preference.
I bet on Spain.
You bet on Spain? Okay, I bet on Portugal. Let's see.
Okay.
And France was the winner of the World Cup, by the way, that year. Yeah. So, you see, it creates a competition within a competition. That's what makes this creative strategy so great. So, let's move on. And those are the football superstars. I personally know and admire Maradona. He was a hero of my childhood, and I guess I even have seen him on TV. Do you know the other?
Yeah, Cafu was a basketball player. I think Del Bosque was a football player, but he was famous because now he's a great coach. Mm-hmm. And Effenberg, I think he's German.
Mm-hmm. I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only person I know here is Maradona because his name was everywhere. So, recognizable faces and people who the other users are admiring are creating additional attention. That's why it is a great idea to put not only the football superstars. If you're promoting sports betting on cricket, on basketball, hockey, it doesn't matter. Every sport has its superstars. So before you start making your creatives, pay attention that you have to make a little bit of an investigation if you're not interested in sport. And if you are, you already know the names. They are like in the air.
Yeah. So a little bit of psychology on creative. The prototype of sport better is male, young, tech-savvy. It's about cybersports.
Being a tech-savvy is knowing how to hold your smartphone.
Okay.
Not only playing cybersport. You are.
Yeah. Which that aligns with the target audience of betting advertising. Mm-hmm. This is not sexist. This is just psychology and facts. Mm-hmm. You need to target male audience. Then we have skill enhancing and success through talent. Basically, is the same. Mm-hmm. You need to emphasize on capacities and knowledge of the better, and in the other one you have to focus on the talents of the better. I mean, you're lucky today. Mm-hmm. Bet on Spain, mm-hmm. not on Portugal. Then we have risk lowering. We need to underemphasize the risk involved in betting and typically overestimate the probability of winning. So mm-hmm. we need to make people think that betting is normal. It's like go to
going
fishing.
to the shop.
Yeah, going to the fishing, I think.
Fishing is also a sport, by the way, and it requires skill and talent.
So,
Daddy,
go fish.
I love you, Daddy.
And you need to make people feeling more in control. You need to enhance the control of the user over the outcome.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have some examples. Can you explain them? Can you analyze them? Comment them?
Yes, I would give a couple of comments since that psychology is something that I work with while I'm composing the text of the ad copies for the creatives. So the first one is skill enhancing. I would say that it's pretty much a good example. Anyway, you knew it. This is the point where the skill enhancing is hidden. So you are making sure that the person has the skill. This is a betting pro who will get the maximum profit from their own guesses who is going to win today. So this text could be an example of a skill-enhancing strategy. And the second one, feeling more in control, and this one is also not very obvious. So here it is written that a 20-year-old kid makes a huge, way huge amount of money per day with this betting strategy. So this strategy that is being offered, I guess, on the pre-lender or maybe on the direct page, is so simple and so gold-winning, so any person feels in control.
I see a baby in that.
You see a baby.
That drawing.
A baby in the drawing.
With two arms. Okay, never mind. Focus.
You know, psychologists say that this has a meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a baby.
Yeah, you have two.
Okay, I know.
It's so good to remind people how successful they are. So the next, focus on masculinity. And yes, this wonderful, smart, beautiful woman on the banner. And this encouraging text of being a real man is also an encouragement to make a bet. You won't believe me, but such texts get conversion rates with a very big regularity. And I don't know what's the point. For me, it's maybe sometimes can be a little bit of an insult, like, be a man, be a man. This is not what people in 2K19 do, but it works. It actually works. That's why if we're talking about conversion rates and not political correctness, please go for it. Risk lowering, betting for fun, how to make money with a hobby. A hobby is something that is safe, that makes people feel cozy and feels like home, so it's risk-free. That's why betting is compared with a hobby. So it's risk lowering, also a wonderful strategy. And success through talent, my personal favorite. You don't have to be a pro. You don't have to be like you don't have to be the regular viewer of the games. You just have to be lucky and talented. Make any bet anytime, and you will get the profit just because you're talented. It sounds actually tempting. I would bet myself. I guess that's pretty much it.
Thank you for your comments. Let's move to our case studies.
Oh my God, we're already at the case studies.
The first one, it is about McGregor versus Nurmagomedov, and then we have the real.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Last year, the social media just blasted.
Yeah.
I have never been interested in martial arts, MMA, or these two particular people, but I know who they are already because it has such a huge hype and resonance, especially in the post-Soviet countries. And here we have geos like Ukraine and Russia, which were actually the most interested.
Yeah, the period of launching was from October 4th to October 6th. That the event was on the 8th.
On the 8th of October, I guess, right?
Okay, so it was 2 days before.
So, pay attention. The campaigns lasted for 2 days. Mm-hmm. 2 calendar days. And the revenue was 122 for 2 days. Yeah. And probably the creatives made it so great because in the text, for those non-Russian speakers, I am translating. The fight of the year, make a bet. 25,000 rubles bonus for your betting. Can you count it in euros or dollars, please? I'm so bad at counting.
It's 400.
Let it be 500. Let it be $500.
No, 400.
Okay, $400 for bonus for your bet. So this is the combination of different creative strategies. First one is versus. So we have 2 opponents playing against each other, fighting against each other. We place them on the creatives. We also have a bonus, 25,000 rubles, which is $400 approximately, and we place it on the banner and make a bet. So this was a creative combination of different approaches, and it worked very well. For 2 days, the campaign lasted for only 2 days, and the ROI was 37%, and with a total income of $450 and $327 spent, we have a revenue of 122 in 2 calendar days, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I think that's 10,000 rubles.
Okay.
And let's move to cyber betting, the real sport.
My middle tower is under attack.
Okay, in this case we had the ad format was on click. The geo targeting, the geo target was on Spain, and the period was on July for 3 weeks of this year.
So 3 weeks, and this colorful creative, given an opportunity of choice and featuring top games like CS2 as far as I saw it, League of Legends, and different teams to choose from, gathered a great audience, and with $767 spent, the total income for 2 weeks.
League of Legends, CSGO,
and Dota 2. Yes. Yeah. The total income is $1,143, and with a ROI of 49%, we're getting $376 of revenue, which is also impressive. And this is actually a classic case. Remember the Cookie Monster thing? This is this person decided to make a bigger investment, like spent $767 and got more revenue. And the total income is actually impressive as well.
First 3 ones is from Jonathan Walters. How should we? I read all the questions.
I guess
just one?
one by one will be okay.
How should we approach promoting sports which we know very little about?
How should we approach sports that we don't know about? That's actually the thing that I usually face during my working process all the time, because I have absolutely no knowledge about horse racing or tennis or, for example, golf or cricket that we have already told about. The thing is that you always have to do the research. And as far as I remember, I have seen these questions before. So is it fine to promote a sport we're not very knowledgeable about? It is absolutely fine, but before you need to find out the first thing: the key teams, players, and competitions. This is what we actually did in the first part of the presentation. We were talking about the popular sports and the geos to target and the ways you can promote them. And when do you have to do this? So if you've decided to promote cricket betting offers, you have to find out when the key competitions are taking place, probably find out the leading players, so the leading teams, and compose the creatives, or maybe even make a wonderful pre-lender about this particular competition. I guess this investigation will be useful for your own knowledge, like general knowledge, and also will help you create the strategy that fits just this offer in particular. So, do you recommend to do some research? Yes, I do. I always do. Of course, there are so many universal strategies for on-click and especially for push notifications, like creating a fake message. So you have one message open now. It can contain any content, but the bounce rate, like people are thinking that this is a message, they're opening it and they're seeing that this is not a message, this is ads, and they're going away from it and they're closing the window and it's done. But when you put some effort and make some investigation and make the creatives in appropriate way, you may get a very loyal audience, even from the point of betting. That's my answer, and I really, really hope that it helped you, Jonathan. I know that you're one of our most loyal viewers, so thank you very much for asking so useful questions. Thank you.
Well, the next one is from Varun Rai. Keskar. Hi, guys. Hi.
Hello.
What do you think is the best strategy for sport betting? I will read it entire. There is a big sport event coming up. Should we use push notifications just before or during the event to get maximum ROI? The competitions will be high as well. How do you think we should plan to stand out among the crowd? I think the last one you can answer. And previous questions we answered that already.
Yes.
You will have the presentation, and we talk about when we should use push notification, when we should use native ads or on clicks.
Before I answer the last question by wonderful Varun Raj, I guess this is the right name. Varun Raj.
Varun Raj. Okay,
I really hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It is so awesome to meet the expectation of the audience. You see, that people are asking the questions, and we have already answered them. Yeah. So before they even saw the presentation, they've had questions in mind, and we felt the same way, like answering them with our presentation.
We're lucky ones. We have talent for betting.
No, I guess this is just when the expectation meets reality, and I am so happy that we're facing this situation. And answering the last question, the competition will be very high, especially on the day of the event, and this is right. And we should plan how we should plan to stand out of the crowd. We have already told you the wonderful strategies that you may apply anytime, but if it's a one-time event, go for opportunity of choice strategy, like the flags, star players against each other, like in our promo photo shoot that we've had, like we're facing each other, or something like this. Or try to create some additional landing pages that would stand out from the others, very typical, that are done exactly for the event. And the success won't make you wait, actually. So you just have to put a little bit more soul and a little bit more investigation. So we're referring to the previous question. To stand out, you have to work a little bit harder. And I guess this one implies to any branch and any field that you would like to master. So I really hope that I've answered this question. If not, please write in the comment. Probably after the webinar, I will think about it more thoroughly and will answer it on the blog post.
Okay.
Yeah, but I really hope that I made myself clear.
Well, that's the name. I think I heard it before. Samuel Vosu.
You've heard that?
Yeah. I think he was on your webinar.
He was on the webinar.
He was on the webinar of Creative. He has questions.
Oh, it's so good to see you again, Samuel. Welcome back.
What is the best way of promoting sports and betting?
The thing is that I'm reading the chat on the different screen, Samuel. I'm so glad that you're back.
Okay.
Hi.
What is the best way of promoting sports and betting? Direct linking or creating a landing page for it? I
will answer the one by one.
Okay,
so I personally believe that one-time events are going better with the pre-landers. The pre-landers that are clearing that are made especially for the event, because it is a big deal, the interest is high and the audience is involved, and some interactive pre-lander where the user has an opportunity to click something, to type something, to make a prediction, or to see the playbacks of different moments of sports that we're talking about, would be an additional attraction to that. If it is a regular betting or a regular betting offer or a seasonal event, you may go for direct link. And but it is just my belief, and it is not a rule. So try different strategies every time. And with your own experience, you're going to gain the wisdom of how it's done properly.
Okay, the next question is actually good. If it is using a landing, should we use, the regular question, should we use country language where targeting, or English is fine?
Whoa. Also, this is what I am facing during my working process. I work with the translations, and it is actually a big deal. Well, when you speak English, you think that everyone speaks English, but it is not true. And
Spain,
obviously,
Italy, France are not good on English.
I am sure that every nation has its peculiarities while learning the language. For example, Russians speak English with very awful accent, but they are very thorough with grammar. It doesn't matter if the country is famous for knowing English. For example, Denmark, Sweden, and other Scandinavian countries, they speak English very well, and it's a fact. And actually, it's a life hack. If you don't have much time to translate your landing pages or your creatives into Scandinavian languages, English is fine. But for the rest of the world, for example, especially France, especially French-speaking regions of Canada, like Quebec, you have to translate everything into the national languages. I'm also talking about such countries like China, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines.
There is no way to find out if you are right with your creatives or not. With your copies.
Well, the thing is that there are so many services that offer the services of native speaker translations. So, in case you would like to get the most of profit and to be understood from the point of your creatives and your offer, I highly recommend you to spare a little coin on translations. This is very important.
Well, based on data and analysis from you, which ad formats works better in sports betting? Well, we explained that because there is no bad ad formats on sports betting. You just need to combine them, use them all.
Yes, go for all the formats that you have offered, and the success won't make you wait. So, Samuel, I see you online. Have we answered your questions? Do you have any additional? And thank you very much for your attention and for being involved in this webinar. Thank you very much. And we will try to answer all of your questions in the blog post. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's pretty much it. We have to turn that thing on. I don't know how to do that. Come on. Turn this off. Turn this off.